Hello, everyone, and welcome to Impact Marketing Summit. I brought together some of the world's top marketing experts to share with you their new age marketing strategies and techniques that would literally change the way you perceive and implement marketing in your day to day business. My name is Vamsi Pannala, and right now I'm delighted to be speaking with Melissa Recker. Melissa is a nuclear engineer turned entrepreneur, an online business owner, and Amazon's best selling author. She walked away from a healthy six-figure job so that she could be more present for her babies. But she was unwilling to give up her financial empowerment and needed to be challenged and fulfilled as a professional woman. Now she has built an entire business helping other people like her do the same. She gives people like her the proven blueprint to work more strategically so that they are empowered to make the life choices they desire. She also helps network marketers and affiliate marketers launch and automate their businesses using funnels and strategic automation so that they can live life and make money at the same time. Melissa, welcome to the summit.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. First of all, just thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this amazing summit. I'm super excited to deliver some value today. So my name is Melissa Ricker, and I'm going to jump right into it because today we're going to be talking about how to leverage a live audience to create a six-figure leap in your business. And what I'm going to show you today, even if you're just starting out and you've got no money coming in, how you can make a six-figure leap. Even if you're at six figures, how you can leverage a live audience to create another six-figure leap. So six-figure leaps are what we're talking about. And this is super important, even more so today in today's atmosphere, because buyers want a personal human connection. And I'm about to show you how I have leveraged a live audience to catapult my business from a big fat zero all the way to seven figures in a course of about 15 months. And so that's what we're talking about today. I'm super excited to jump in with you. So let's get going. Okay, you guys, I'm an engineer by degree, engineer turned entrepreneur, and that's kind of my superpower, is to break things down that seem complicated and make them simple. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So are you ready for me to show you how simple this gets to be? I hope you're excited. Okay, before we jump into the step-by-step, because I love step-by-step, we're going to be talking about the mistakes that I see. And these are not just mistakes that I see, it's mistakes that I made myself, and mistakes that are going to cost you even more in this new age marketing world. So trying to over automate, you know, the famous automated funnels that, you know, create this passive income dream, never having to show up for your audience, being on the beach while your business runs on autopilot, hiding behind pre-recorded videos, email sequences, and sales pages, and not showing up and delivering value in real life. Like you and me talking together, just like right now, live here in real time, not making offers often enough. A lot of entrepreneurs get stuck here. And even if they are showing up in real time for their audience, they're not making offers, which makes them get stuck, or they're not making enough offers. If you're not making offers, you're not bringing in cash flow, and therefore you don't have a business, you have a hobby, just saying. I did this for way too long. I rode the struggle bus as an entrepreneur for too long and uncomfortable years, and I don't want you making the same mistakes. You cannot make money if you're not making offers. Next, failing to build an audience. We're going to talk about this today. Failing to build an audience of people who have the problem you solve. We all know we have to build an audience to make sales. You can't make sales to an empty room. However, building a targeted audience full of people who have the problem that you solve is critical. And it's a mistake I made myself and I see way too often. And finally, catering to the freebie seekers instead of catering to the buyers. We don't want to do that anymore. What we're talking about today is actually how to position yourself and your business and your message as a bookstore rather than a library. Okay, this is super important because who goes into a library? Nothing wrong with a library, but when you go into a library, you can check out a book and you never pull out your credit card. When you walk into a bookstore, you might be able to stay there in the bookstore and read a book for free for a little bit while you enjoy some coffee or whatever, but you don't walk out of the bookstore with a book without pulling out your credit card. And so these two, the library and the bookstore, are positioned very differently. And we want to make sure that in your business, you are positioning yourself to cater to the buyers. Okay, let's get into this. So step by step. This is how simple it gets to be. Okay, step number one is you define the problem that you solve. Now, I know this sounds super incredibly like, okay, Melissa, we knew that. But I'm telling you, I work with hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs every single year. And I see over and over again that they don't have their heads wrapped around the problem that they solve in a way that their audience understands. They don't. And it's super important that not only do we have our problem defined, but we define it in the way that our audience defines it. This is the urgent problem. This is the thing that keeps them up at night. And the way I want you to define it, I know a lot of other coaches that teach you this elevator speech or, I help blah, blah, blah with blah, blah, blah. No, I want you to define your problem as tangible as an airline ticket. And I'll draw you a picture here in a second. I have to draw this. So this is just how I think. And then I want it to be ultra specific, as in who gets results and who doesn't get results. This is how I want you to define your problem. And let me just get over here. Oops. Escape this for a second. I'm going to just draw you a little picture because this is how I think in the engineer space. Okay. So if you've got this little journey, okay, this is how I want you to define the problem that you solve. You have people who are at point A and they want to get to point B, meaning that this line in between is the journey that they're going to go on. This is once they pull out their credit card, they're going to go on your specific journey with your specific framework. Don't judge my artistic ability here. And they're going to truck along using your framework to get to point B. But if you don't know how to tangibly describe point A and tangibly describe point B, you're going to struggle to get people inside of your paid offer. Okay. So if this line in between with all these hash marks is your framework, is your offer, is your paid offer, your program, your course, whatever it is that you sell, then you're going to have a hard time getting people in if you can't call out who it's for. Okay. And the easiest way and the way I describe it to all my clients is in this tangible way, right? If point A is as tangible as Houston, Texas, which is where I live, and point B is Las Vegas, where I want to go. Okay. For example, if I want to go on a vacation from Houston to Las Vegas, that's how tangible I want you to have your problem defined, meaning that I want you to show it in a way that makes them feel like, yes, that's me. How do we do that? We describe it with symptoms. So what are the symptoms? What is the tangible ways that the problem shows up in their life when they're at point A, right? So I might say things like, for my business as an example, I might say things like unable to create offers that sell, struggling to get a converting funnel, working way too hard for way too little, not having an audience that buys, right? Struggling with content. I could go on and on, but you get the idea. And I take you over here to a place B that is, you have a leveraged group program that's scalable and highly profitable. You have an audience full of raving fans who pull out their credit cards every time I ask. You've taken a 6-figure leap in your business. Okay. So what are the symptoms of the problem that you solve? And then it's literally like, I take you from, I take you from point A to point B. I take you from Houston to Las Vegas, and I have a private jet that's going to get you there. That's how I want you to describe your problem. I might come back to this in just a second. But that's how tangible I want you to describe your problem. I take people from point A to point B. Are you at point A? Symptom, symptom, symptom. This is how we educate our audience. Are you at point A? Do you want to go to point B? tangible symptom, tangible symptom, tangible symptom. This is what life looks like at point B. Okay. And I want you to be ultra specific, not as in that you have to niche down, however you say it, until you're at, this very specific person. But I want you to think about this, the problem that you solve as in who gets results, who actually makes it to Las Vegas, who makes it to point B and who doesn't. What work do they have to show up and do? What steps do they have to take? Nobody gets results from just investing. So I want you to be ultra specific as in who gets results and who doesn't. That was step number 1, okay? Super simple. Step number 2 is to define your secret sauce. So this is the point, right? When we're talking about secret sauce, your framework is actually all these little hashes between. Okay, so now that you've got step 1, you've defined your point A and your point B in a tangible way. Now you got to start laying out the framework, the steps that they're going to have to take in order to get to point B. Okay, so what do they actually have to do? What do they actually need? What are the different elements that are going to get people consistently to point B? And even if you don't know right away, you just come up with a loose framework. Because again, this is about leveraging a live audience. And so we're going to learn from them. We're going to adapt and evolve with them. So what do they actually need? Define those, arrange them in a logical pattern. This becomes your secret sauce. This becomes your private jet. This becomes your framework, whatever you want to call it. And then I want you to look at what's missing. What's missing from the equation? Why are most people unable to get from point A to point B? A lot of times it has something to do, especially when you're talking about a full transformation, it has something to do with missing elements of mindset, skill set, tool set. And you have to touch on all 3 of these for people to have a lasting change in their life. So what is missing from most entrepreneurs or most people who have a similar offer? What's missing from their framework, from their offers? Is it something to do with mindset? Is it a skill that's missing? Are they not spending enough time on a certain aspect in their framework? Are they going out of order? Are they missing some tools? Okay, so this is define your secret sauce. And the difference between making a big fat 0 and hitting the $1 million mark and beyond is going to lie in answering this question. Okay, our buyers are already trying to solve the problem. They're urgently trying to solve the problem, the A to B. They already know that they want to get to point B. They already know how much it stinks to be at point A. So if you can answer this question and then incorporate it into your offer, you will not easily, because nothing's easy, right? But it will be much simpler. It will be much faster to get to the $1 million mark and beyond. So why haven't, if they're on their journey, if they know that they want to go to point B and they're struggling at point A, why can't they get to point B? Why aren't they successful in the thing that they're urgently trying to accomplish already? Okay, if you can answer that question and incorporate it in your offer, you're gonna have a much simpler time building and elevating a brand, creating a business around the problem that you solve. The answer is typically found. We already talked about mindset, skill set, tool set. The answer that why most people cannot get to point B is because is typically found in the realm of accountability. Is nobody holding them accountable because change is hard. Accessibility. This is why automated courses hiding behind a pre-recorded course doesn't get people great results, because there's nobody accessible to them when they struggle, when they get stuck, which we always do. Support through implementation. I don't care how great your content is, how simple your steps are laid out. People get stuck. Implementation is the hard part, right? And so being able to support someone through actually implementing knowledge, right? This is the difference between idea and execution. Is actually showing up and supporting people through implementing the changes. And then convenience or ease or simplicity. We like to make things overcomplicated because it feels sometimes validating, like, yeah, you have to come buy from me because you're never going to get to point B without my complicated framework. And it's not the case. People more than ever now, they want simplicity, step by step. Okay. So once you can, look at all these different areas and figure out what is missing, how can you now fill the gap that nobody else in your market is willing to do? This is going to set you apart. Okay. Step number 1 was define the problem in a very tangible and urgent way. Okay. A to B. I help people go from A to B. That's when people get it, right? That's when people get it. Number 2, how am I going to get people from A to B? At least your first go at it, right? And how am I going to incorporate the things that are missing from all of my competitors' offers? Okay, step number 3. Now you know what's missing. You have your general framework. So now you're going to design your program to fill the gaps. And I'm talking about a live audience here, a live audience. You can literally bring a program to life overnight if you're not trying to design a course and create an offer in a vacuum, sitting in your office somewhere trying to actually pretend that this is what I did, right? This is what I did for 2 long years while I was riding the struggle bus, is I sat in my office and I designed things. I designed my courses, pretending like I actually knew what it took for people to get results, to move the needle, to get people from point A to point B. So design a program to fill the gaps. When we're talking about your private jet that gets people from Houston to Las Vegas, you don't want a little a clinkety car. You don't even want one of those tiny little aircrafts, right? You want a jet. You want a jet. So show up for your people. Serve them in real time. Leverage a live audience. So not only are we going to show up for our audience before they buy from us, we're actually going to show up for our audience and serve them in real time, meaning that you run your paid programs live. You actually learn what it takes to actually solve the problem, right? And we hold them accountable to showing up and doing the work to get the results that they said they wanted. Okay? And you can sell it right away. This is how you monetize very, very quickly. And this is how you actually can get paid to develop your framework. And I have to show this again, right? I changed my color here. When you're leveraging a live audience and you've developed this, it doesn't have to be this long. It could be 3 or 4 steps. Just depends on your point A and your point B. But when you're working with a live audience, you're quickly going to realize what it takes to get people to move forward. Forward motion, progress. You're going to figure it out. And you won't ever know if you don't work with people in real time. And you might figure out that this step actually needs to be brought over here. And you might figure out that this step actually needs to be brought over here and then split up into 3 steps. Or you might discover that you were missing a step. You thought this was the first step, but actually this is the first step. And you don't learn this until you're working with people in real time. And so this is how you're actually going to monetize quickly. It's how you're going to design a better jet. And it's how you're going to get paid to define your framework and come out the other side with a business that's much, much more sustainable. Okay, so don't waste months or years trying to create a course, a pre-recorded course that's not going to sell. More than ever in these times right now, people are looking for real solutions, full solutions, and they're looking to strategically invest. Okay. Step number 4 is to now build a targeted audience that has the problem that you solve. It sounds super simple. I know. And it's like, oh, that's a no-brainer, Melissa. Why are you even telling me that? But this is where most people get it wrong. And I'll tell you, this is how I was able to make multiple 6 figures from nothing with a very, very small audience. A very small audience. After I got it all wrong. But once I reset and I follow these exact steps that I'm showing you today, I was able to monetize a very small audience into multiple 6 figures because everyone who came inside my audience was very targeted and that they were at point A and they wanted to get to point B. Okay, they wanted to get to point B. And this is super important because if this little drawing here, let me get a different color here. If this little drawing becomes the foundation of your business, the anchor of your business, excuse my drawing skills here, then now your job at audience building becomes very simple. And you simply show up, whether it's paid advertising, whether it's leveraging another audience, or whether it's however you're building your tribe, right? However you're growing your audience, whether it's organically or paid. But now you show up and you just talk about this problem. All of your messaging points back to this problem. Are you at point A? And do you want to go to point B? Okay. If you look at my ads, if you look at my messaging, it's very simple. It follows this formula over and over and over again, and it works really, really well. So if I'm running a live launch, all my ads will say, does this sound like you? Symptom, symptom, symptom. Would you like to symptom, 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 right? Are you here and do you want to come here? Yes, raise your hand, click the link below. I'm going to take you on this journey. And same for my paid offers. When I make my paid offers, it's the same. It's the same. Are you at point A? Do you want to get point B? And will you be willing to show up and take the steps that are required to get there? And I build my audience full of people who are at point B, whose final destination is point B. Did I say that right? Point A to point B. And that's what it's all about. And all of my content, all of my messaging, all of everything becomes obsessively centered around this problem that I solve. Okay, so that's step number 4, is to now build a targeted audience, right? So step number 1 was to define the problem in that A to B way, very tangible, very urgent. Number 2 is to find out why, to figure out why they haven't been successful at getting to point B so far. Number 3 is to now design your program, a live program, to get people from point A to point B in your private jet, right? And step number 4 is to now build a targeted audience that has the problem that you solve. And I'll actually leverage my launches to build my audience. And then I'll make them a paid offer that makes a lot of sense, okay? Now, when we're talking about how to bring them in, how to build that audience, we want to create content that caters to the buyers. Remember the positioning as a bookstore, not a library, okay? So buyers have already decided that they want an airline ticket. They have already decided that they're tired of point A and they want to get to point B. They've likely already invested in things. They've worked on solutions. They haven't gotten results yet, but they're on their journey from point A to point B. They're just lost. They're just lost. And they're looking for a better solution. And buyers are action takers. They're not sitting on their couch just consuming content to make them feel like they're taking action. They actually want action. They actually want to get results. They're actually already in a vehicle. It's just not your private jet. It's the clinkety old Pinto, Ford Pinto that's broken down on the side of the road, okay? We need to educate them on why they need to get out of their Pinto and get into our private jet. Therefore, our content, the way that we're going to be educating them is through content that is designed to inspire action. Inspire action, number 1, but also number 2, lead right into the sale. Because buyers want to invest in a solution. They know that they don't get from Houston to Las Vegas without investing in an airline ticket. It just makes a lot of sense. And so if you spend all this time building an audience that has the problem, a highly targeted audience full of buyers, and you're positioning yourself, you're getting people in, right? But then you don't make an offer. You don't position yourself as a bookstore. A bookstore has no qualms, has no worry, has no regret, has no weirdness, has no anxiety about asking for a sale. And if you work all that time and spend all your energy, money, efforts creating or building an audience full of people who have the problem that you solve, and then you don't invite them to take the next step, they will go elsewhere. They will go elsewhere and to make a purchase because they know that an investment is required. They know that plane ticket doesn't come for free. The example that I always use is that if you have a headache and you walk into a pharmacy and they're out of Tylenol or they won't sell you Tylenol, you're going to very quickly walk out of that pharmacy and walk into the next pharmacy because you have a problem and you want a solution and you're a buyer. Okay, so don't cater to the freebie seekers by just putting a lot of content out there without inviting people into a sale. Okay, now here we go. So what we've covered so far is defining a problem that we solve in a very tangible way. Number 2, figuring out why they have been unsuccessful so far. Number 3, designing our private jet, designing our program, which is much different than a course. Okay. This is going to be something that we're leveraging a live audience for. Number 4, let me see. Number 4 was now building a targeted audience. How are we going to build that targeted audience? Through content that caters to the buyers. Okay, so step number 4 and step number 5 go together here. And then step number 6 is now, once you make your offer inside of your content that's designed to appeal to the buyers and the action takers, now you're going to run the program live. You're going to run the program live, even if you have no real solid idea of what your framework's going to look like. You're going to run the program live and work with people in real time, and you're going to have a commitment to filling the gaps as they come up, so that you're getting paid now to develop your private jet, to make it better, faster, simpler. And you allow your offer to evolve as you evolve as a business owner and as your audience evolves in their journey from point A to point B. And you learn a lot of things as you do this in real time with your audience. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is to create your offers or build your offers and build your programs and build your solutions live with your audience instead of for your audience in a vacuum. That's what this is all about. Okay, so you run the program live, you learn, you rearrange, and you do it again. You rinse and repeat until all of a sudden you have this private jet that gets everybody from point A to point B. And now you're never going to be associated with all the other competition, because you're going to have built your brand around your ability to get people results, get them to Las Vegas, get them to point B. And that's super, super powerful. Okay, this is exactly how I did it. This is exactly how my clients do it. It makes so much sense. It's so simple, and you can literally get started right away. Okay, the bottom line here is if you care enough to do what it takes to get your people from point A to point B, you'll never run out of people who will pay you. It's the bottom line here. Okay, so I hope that was helpful to you. Again, we'll just recap the steps very, very quickly. Step number 1, define the problem that you solve, that urgent A to B. Here's where they're at right now with pain point. Here's where they want to go. Here's what life is going to look like, X, Y, Z. Okay, as tangible as that airplane ticket. Step number 2, how are you going to get them there? What's the first step they need to take? What's the second step, third step? Think of it as if you're standing on one side of the room and you want to get to the other side of the room. What's the first step? What's the second step, right? You can't, unless you're a superhero, you can't fly to the other side. You have to take a series of steps. That becomes your initial framework, okay? Look at what's missing: mindset, skill sets, tool set. Step number 3, design your program, not a course, a program to fill the gaps, okay? How are you going to be different from all of your competition? Step number 4, now you've got your problem defined. You need to build a targeted audience who has that problem, who are at point A and want to go to point B. Oops. Yeah, this is right. How are you going to build that audience? You're going to create content that caters to the buyers. This is how you position yourself as a bookstore, not a library. Step number 6 is you're going to run the program live and get better and further define your program. Make it better. Your framework gets stronger. You understand what it takes to actually get people from point A to point B, and you actually get them there. And that's huge, because your ability to get people results is everything. Your entire business, your brand hinges on your ability to get people results. This is why people will sing your names from the rooftops, because you care enough to actually show up and figure out in real time how to get them from point A to point B. Okay, that's all I had for you guys today. I hope that was helpful. If you'd like to come follow me, you'll see some information on how to do that, how to join my Facebook group where this is what I talk about, this is what I teach. And, again, I want to thank you for this opportunity to be here inside of this summit, talking about the things that get me all fired up, what I'm passionate about. And I hope that this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions about this, if you want to learn more about it, if you need some help to finding your point A and your point B, that's what I'm here for. So thank you so much, and we will talk to you soon.
Melissa, thank you so much for coming on the summit. I truly appreciate the time that you have taken out and coming here to help a lot of people who are trying to understand how they should go from their point A to B. I'm sure this is going to be helpful for everyone who is watching it right now on the summit. And again, I truly appreciate taking out time to come on my summit and share the knowledge and value that you have given in your presentation. Highly commendable. Thank you so much again, and looking forward to having many more sessions like this with you, and hope you have a great day.